All right. So this is the inaugural session. It feels a little bit weird. The inaugural session for the Second City Saints, which uh it took me a while. It took us both a while to decide on not just the name, because I was going crazy for it, the logo and all that stuff. But we're finally here. This is our first episode. It's gonna be a little bit weird. See, like I'm already shaking the table. I got to get used to something. So, Steve, take it away. Whatever you want
Dude,
to say right now.
you're wrestling your desk. I'm trying to get my microphone to work. I have my side camera rolling, so I actually have some side footage I can send you. But yeah, excited. I've been trying to get a podcast going together with a few other friends. They've backed out. So man, what it takes to even get one, even on record or started, man, it makes you yeah, think like, damn, we can't even work out a schedule. So I'm glad we're here
Yeah.
together because I know that if you're committed, I'm committed. We're going to come up with some content that'll actually roll out and make sense for potential viewers, guests coming on. I'm excited for that. I have a couple that are interested to join. And then even create content for our podcast, so they're curious to see what our content, what we're going to bring to the table, and they're going to mix some music together for us for an intro and an outro, and then he can even himself. He's a character. Knew him from back in AT&T days. He'd be more than welcome to join too. So yeah, I'm excited because I know what it takes to get here. It takes a lot. And then Roger, thanks for taking the time to join. And hey, we'll just have some laughs. We'll talk some shit, and yeah, we'll put some things on record and put it out there.
Yeah. I mean, now I guess now I'll give my little take on it. Right. Just like you said, it does take a lot of work. I've been wanting to start a podcast even from the days when we were back in Buffalo during the pandemic, which for those of you who don't know, that's where Steve and I actually did meet because we worked for the same company. He already said AT&T. So on our LinkedIn, you'll see that there. Um, the reason it took so long for me to do it is just because it's so hard when you're by yourself. You're trying to do everything, and then it's just much easier when you have someone there to be like, okay, let's have a conversation, as opposed to trying to come up with something on your own. I'm really psyched about it. So as far as for the hypothetical people that are going to be watching this at some point, right? The idea is to give our take on anything that's going on currently, and then of course we want to make it a little bit funner, right? Because there's a lot of those type of channels, but we want to give our insight with some analogies that happen through our lives and our belief system, which mine is a little bit more in the logical sort of sense, because it's I make my decisions based on logic. I take all emotion out. And I think that's why people liked me better than you in Buffalo, because you were the bad cop. I was good cop when we were together. Um, and
Sometimes it
so
just depends. Depends on
yeah,
who you ask.
that's true. It depends on, on who liked who better. But because like I wouldn't get swayed. Oh yeah, my mom is. I don't care. Like it's like whatever. It's like, do you have a good excuse or what? But yeah, so I'm really excited about that. And like you mentioned, you have people on your side. There are people I'm going to start reaching out for guests. The idea is for us to have at least one session throughout the week where we invite people, whether viewers or our friends, to also give their takes on certain subjects, right? Subjects are going to go not all political, right? Because again,
Please,
a lot of
God,
people
no.
have that, you
Yeah,
know. But we want to keep it light, but at the same time informative.
right.
And then, of course, at the end of the week, come Friday, we're hoping to make it a little bit lighter. Give some stories, something from our past and whatnot. But yeah, I guess that explains everything what we're gonna do about the channel. So as far as who we are, Steve, I'm gonna let you go first since I've already been rambling for like 5 minutes here. So just go ahead, take it away.
Yeah, for sure. Chicago guy, if you want to say that, born and raised. So actually, second, let's say third generation citizen. And him, that's a big topic of late. Like, hey, what? A lot of people ask me, one, do you speak Spanish? Hell no. Two, do your parents speak Spanish? Are they from Chicago? Yes, they are. And then my grandparents actually migrated over here from Mexico. So, but yeah, excited. Just because being born in Chicago, it's a hot topic right now. Everybody thinks Chicago, and then everybody's dead. No, it's not that. I'm a foodie, and that's a little bit about coming from Chicago. When you come to Chicago, man, I'm about 190. But I was born about man. My entire life I was the little guy. But man, come back to Chicago from New York and California, pack on those pounds. But a little bit about me, foodie. Pizza is a big deal to me. Giordano's, Illuminati's, all those things. I'm a big sports guy, so I'm like you, Roger. I know you're like, I think the Cubs are good. I think the Sox are good. I have a pretty good idea what's going on in the sports world. I suck at gambling. I'll admit that right off the bat. I think I've lost more than I've won for sure. But yeah, I have a daughter, love her to death. The family's all here in Chicago for the most part. But yeah, work actually helping small businesses. I think that's something that I've done for a good portion of my life is helping small businesses. I love small business. Big pride there. So any chance I get, I go local. But yeah, that's a little bit about me. You'll get to know me a little bit more about what I'm passionate about. But number one, I love to laugh. I love to make other people laugh. And if I'm not doing that, we got to get there somehow. But for sure, that's a little bit about me, Roger.
Um, well, that's good. I mean, I didn't know anything about like that. You're a third generation, right?
Yeah,
So even I learned something new now.
for
Now,
sure.
as far as myself, I was also born in Chicago, although I currently do not live there. For those of you who are wondering um, about like the shirt says FIU, I also grew up in Florida. Currently, I'm living in Texas and Houston.
Okay.
Whether I go back to Chicago, well, nobody knows. Never say never. Although currently, I'm pushing to go back to Miami, and I am looking towards Las Vegas. Right. Chicago pizza doesn't. I'm gonna order that from. Doesn't matter where I live. Pizza's pizza, but Chicago makes the best pizza. Right. Like you, I
Right.
also believe in eating local, buying local. But that's a lot easier in Chicago because out here in Houston, everything for the most part seems to be like big name brands, chains, and all that stuff. But there are local stuff, but it's different. It's a different feel. I feel like it's more compact in Chicago and whatnot. Um, don't have kids, divorced, still looking, right? We'll see what happens, right? Even for my age, I gotta say, man, I think I look pretty good, and all that stuff.
Nah, you look young, bro. You
I
still
swim
got it.
every day. Yeah, I still got it. I think so. Obviously I've lost a step or two, but that comes with age. Whatever, it is what it is. Um, yeah, I moved here to Houston from Buffalo, where we were for family's sake, and so I actually took a quote unquote demotion when I did that because at the time, family was we were apart for far too long. So I'm first gen born here. Parents immigrated here from South America way back in the '70s when there weren't very many Hispanics, right? So when people
Right.
say, "Oh, it's a challenge," no, they faced a damn challenge, right? And your grandparents or even before then. So,
For
you
sure.
know, can you imagine the challenges that they faced back then when they were less than 1% of the population, right? Um, so those are the things that kind of like help bring me forward. I do speak Spanish. I've lived in Latin countries where I was forced to learn because prior to that in Miami, my Spanish was garbage, right? But then again,
Right.
unless you're Spanish speaking in Miami, you speak garbage Spanish, right? That mix of Spanglish that's going on all the time.
Right.
Um, but other than that, yeah, man, I'm excited. We'll see what the future brings, and that's pretty much about it for me as far as like who I am, right? And now I guess just to kind of like end things a little bit quickly, right? I guess the first thing is, do you have like a little humor story that you can kind of tell us to kind of like send things off for our first and chaotic podcast?
Let's see, man. I have too many to recall, that's for sure. Uh I'll give you a light one. and this goes back. I'll give you two. I'll give you two because this
Okay.
way you can take and which one. I'll give you a choice. All right. This was when I was a kid, and I just got my hair cut. I go to my boy out in Oak Park now, Steele's Barber, and I love that guy. His name's Oscar. Guys, if you want a barber and you're in Chicago or near West Burbs, Austin area, Chicago, hit up Steele's Barber. Oscar, he's awesome. If you hit me on the side DM, I can send you his information. But he gets me cut up. I remember, when I was fourth, fifth grade, somewhere around there, I tried to be my own barber, and I've been paying for it ever since just because I have no sideburn. I don't know what happened. I must have cut too deep. But I figured it was a good idea to take my dad's Bic razor and just trying to, okay, I need to look good for the fourth and fifth grade ladies. And I didn't have any facial hair, so I don't know what the hell I was shaving off. But actually, from about here all the way down, I shaved way too high with a big razor. And I'm like, oh, shit. And I panicked. When I should have just said, fuck it, I'll just shave both sides. I just left one side. And then imagine, young kid going into school the next day. Oh, man, I just got to hide this. So I just went this the whole day. And everybody's like, why the hell do you have your hand on the side of your head? Boom. Fucking whole side was shaved down. And even till today, I'm still regretting that just because this side, for whatever, he doesn't grow in as much as this side does. But super hilarious. So that was just an embarrassing moment. I think another funny story would be, I think it was, this is a fuck me story. All right. This is what taught me never to be late to a first day of orientation for a job. So this is in Chicago, and at the time I didn't really drive, or I drove and I thought that, fuck it, I can make it in 30 minutes. Yeah, that's not the case in Chicago. You got to just give yourself like 45 to an hour if you're going to get from point A to point B at anywhere in the city. And first day, had to catch a train, a cab, and then just to get to Lincoln Park from the near west side of Chicago. Yeah, super late, 15 minutes late. I walk in thinking, fuck it. You're just late. No biggie. Walk in. The lady who's like in charge of Adidas at the time, or Adidas marketing, just said, go to the office. And so I was like, oh shit, she's going to really take it this far? She said, yeah, go sit in the office. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe she's going to just come get me and just teach me a lesson. Nope. She said, wait for the whole orientation to end. She walks into the office. Yeah, I just wanted to see you wait. You can leave now. I'm like, oh shit, really? I mean, come on. What kind of a shit show is that? Yeah, I was 15 minutes late, but damn, at least I got here, mother. I mean, I think if it was today's world, it would have been like, yeah, you're late, no big deal. Come through, sit down, no big deal. I'm glad you made it. But no, this lady really did. She waited and then walked in the room and just said, yeah, you're fired. I'm like, good God. But man, it's just like, it's funny how different it is between today's world. Yeah, he made it to work on time. He's dependable. Yeah, shit happens. And then what was used to be, hey, you're late, you're fired. So a couple good funny stories there for sure.
Well, mine basically is today, right? So for those of you, I guess, who are going to see this in the future, we just had, it was a small hurricane, or I guess a Category 1.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Houston. And today I lucked out. I have electricity, but pretty much everything around me,
right,
there's no electricity whatsoever. So just keep that in mind while I tell the story. So anyways, I have been through several hurricanes already, right? When I lived in Puerto Rico, Miami, Dominican Republic, I've been through these. I know how to prepare. But like an idiot on this last one, I was like, it's just going to be a tropical storm. It's not going to move on to anything. And I wasn't watching the news as well as I typically do in the past to get ready. Now, before the storm comes, just as a side note, because it does pertain to the story, about 3 weeks ago, I got into a car accident where I was rear-ended during a rainstorm. Right, so I'm like, crap, I got hit. I hope to God this person has insurance. They were driving a Mercedes, so thankfully they did. Right, awesome. Drop off my car. It's gonna get repaired. First, it was supposed to be ready to the 7th, then the 9th, and now the 12th. Well, during this period, they've given me a car, a Dodge, what is it? Dodge Challenger, right? Cool car, right? And then the guy, when I go pick it up, he tells me, "Hey, you can pay for the gas here." And he's like, you get a full tank. When you bring it back, you don't need to fill it up. We'll charge you here. I'm like, no, because I've heard
Right.
that scam before. They'll charge me like quadruple the price. No, thank you.
Right.
I will
Right.
do it. So driving around the car, around whatever, I guess I forgot to put gas, because everybody knows if you see a storm coming, you fill your tank up because you don't know
Right.
when electricity is going to come. Well, I was like, yeah, but then again, it's going to be just a storm. What are the chances the electricity goes out? Well, god dang it, that came and bit me in the butt already, right? So storm hits, and then it's like, well, now I need to go look for water and stuff. And I realized that I'm close to empty because I was letting the gas go so I could go to Costco and buy the gas cheaper. So I take it to Costco yesterday, and the line is outrageous. Like, at least the one
My
here
God.
in
It's
in
already
Houston, right?
it's already long.
Yeah, I mean, it's this particular Costco is in the middle of the
Right.
city, and I
Right.
live in a very populated area, right? So for those of you who
Right.
are in the Houston, it's the Galleria area, right? There's always traffic here. There's always a lot of people going around. So I was like, screw it, I don't have enough gas to wait for this line. So let me go and search. And I searched for like 20 minutes, no electricity anywhere, right? So I'm going to traffic, and I'm like, oh my God, and I'm seeing that needle get closer and closer to empty. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm going to run out of gas. I'm going to be stuck on the road. This isn't even my car. So I was like, screw it. I'm going to bite the bullet. I'm going to go home. And I get home, and it's like touching E, right? And I'm like, Jesus Christ,
Good
like, I
God.
made it. Thank God, right? But then I'm like, well, I don't have enough gas to go anywhere. I literally don't, because I'm like, I'll probably hit the end of the block and it's going to turn off on me, and then the car's going to get stuck. So today I was like, well, I got to go look for gas, but there's no electricity. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let me go to AutoZone, to Walmart, and I start walking. I'm walking in 95-degree weather. It's
Oh my God.
extremely hot, right? I haven't walked in weather like this since leaving the Dominican Republic, right? So I'm like passing out, and I'm like trying to take it easy because I feel like my heart pumping, and I'm like, I don't want to be one of these. I'm not, I was gonna say idiot, but no, I don't want to be like these people. Oh, he died of heat stroke, and I'm like, that's an embarrassing way to die, right?
Right.
So I'm walking from store to store to store, and nobody within a 4-mile walking radius has the red canisters. I'm calling, nobody. No, we're out.
Oh
No,
my,
we're out.
that is the
So
worst.
I'm walking, and I'm like, Jesus. I'm like, there's an O'Reilly's. It's 2 miles down. I'm gonna walk down there. Let's see what happens, right? And I call, and they're like, yeah, we're open, whatever. And I'm like, okay. I asked, do you guys have the red canisters? They're like,
Right.
yes,
Right.
but we're running low. And I'm like, Jesus, I gotta go
Oh my
quick in
God.
case. So I get there. There's no electricity. The guy, I'm walking through the aisles, and this guy in Spanish with like those hiking lights comes in the dark aisle.
Oh
He's like,
man,
"Can I
yeah.
help you, sir?" And I'm like, "Yo, I'm just looking for the red canister. Please tell me you have one." The website. He's like, "We have one," and he's like, "It's down there." And I look, and there's just one. He's like, it was a whole like stack that they had, and he's like, "Yeah, we sold out yesterday, almost everything."
Wow.
So
Yeah.
I grab it, and he's like, "Oh, by the way, it's cash only." And I look at him, and I'm like,
Oh
"Dude,
my God.
I hate cash. I never carry cash." But guess what? Today I carried cash. I'm like, never do I carry cash. But today I decided to carry just in case. And then the kid tells me, "Hey, it's 23." And I'm like, "Look, man, I'm going to be the douchebag. I only have 100." And he's like, "No, no, it's okay. It's okay." And I'm like, "Thank God." So I'm like, God is on my side today. I haven't died of heat stroke. I found the gas canister, right? But here's the thing. As a the guy, he's taking the change, the kid's like messing up, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like,
Oh
dude, it's
my
just tax.
God.
Just add the tax, so and that's
Right.
it, right? Grab the price, add your 8.25. That's it. That's what I gotta pay. So the kid's like, they're okay, and he's like taking forever. And
No
then the guy
clue.
that helped me before, he's like, no, it's just we're used to computers. I go, dude, if they could do this crap back in the 80s, 70s, 60s, if they were able to do all of those and we survived, we can do this today. I'm like, don't worry, just take your time, just don't mess up. And then that was it. They were like laughing. I grabbed my crap, I go. But here's the thing, the gas station was like 3 blocks from there, which means I had to carry the 2.5 gallons of gas
Wow.
all the way back. So we're talking over 3 miles of me just walking in the sun, and I'm carrying them. And the thing is like it'd be one thing if I had 2 canisters, because then I could at least even it out. But I'm like walking
Right.
like this, and then I'm walking like that, and then the sun, and then to make things worse, I took my backpack and it's black, so it's like boiling my back,
Oh my.
and I kept having to stop, and I'm like, oh my god, and I'm like thinking, and I'm passing through all these gas stations that have no electricity. There's traffic like crazy. And I'm like, this has taught me a lesson to next time to prepare properly, right? Not forget this. I get home, I'm like about to pass out, right? My parents, they're like, hey, what's up? So for those of you who don't know, my parents are older, so I now take care of them. And I'm like, uh, here's the gas. I'll put the gas in the car later. I just need water. And I just freaking started chugging down the water. And as soon as I was done there, my mom's like, do you want your lunch? I go, no, just give me something fried, and I want a Coke, a coldest Coke. And I just started, bro, because I
Your
honestly
sugar
felt like
level.
crap. Yeah, I was like depleted. I didn't have any Gatorade. And so I'm like there, and I really felt bad. Like I knew it was bad because I started feeling nauseous, right? So again, for some of you, for not for some of you, basically nobody knows other than you. I'm a dentist, right? I'm a foreign trained dentist.
Right.
So that my acidic levels in my system were very high. So I was very nauseous. I started salivating. That's not a good thing to experience, right? So I had to sit down, calm down, cool myself off, turn on the AC. Everybody's like, it's cold. I don't care if it's cold. I need to cool down because my face was all red. But
I'm gonna
thankfully,
pass out.
yeah, I'm about to pass out here. And then to make things worse, right, I'm wearing this, right? So the dark makes it
Right.
hot. I wore jeans because I wasn't
Goodness.
expecting to walk that far. So jeans aren't very breathable. They stay wet. It was just a total mess. But thankfully, I did get the gasoline. So I got my gallons, and now I know what gas station is open. I can put the car in. But then now I got, it's like this entire day has been a, a total disaster, because it's like the insurance is supposed to cover my rental, and for some reason, Enterprise charged me $40. I call up, but then the office is closed because there's no electricity there. So they're gonna keep
Right.
charging me until they get electricity, and so I don't know. I don't know. We'll see how we figure that out. But the guy that's fixing the car, he's like, "No, I called them up. They're gonna take care of it." I'm like, "All right, we'll see what happens." But that's
Right.
my day, dude. That was just
That's
today
crazy, bro.
alone. Yeah, it was
That
a
was
hassle,
just
but
today.
that was just today, right? But
Crazy,
hopefully,
man.
that's a little something for people to kind of like realize, hey, no matter how crappy of a day you have, somebody else has it worse. Because even I'm complaining, but dang it, there's someone else that has it worse. So don't complain, right?
That seems like an event that happened over like a week, let
Yeah,
alone a day.
it was just like Final Destination, right? So like all these
Right.
things that had nothing to do with each other culminated on this one thing, and it was just a messy day because
It's
all of
wild,
that
man.
intertwined at one point in time, and that's it. So
That's crazy.
that's my story for today. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, bro, that's wild. Yeah, I have 1,000 stories. I mean, I could tell you from my 4th of July weekend. I don't remember much of it, but man, oh man, we had a lot to drink. I know. I don't think you're a drinker, right, Roger? Right? That's
No, no.
another side piece to you.
Yeah, my days in Miami of because I mean, let's be real, right? You're a teenager, young adult, you're growing up in Miami, man. You're doing more than drinking,
Right,
and after
right,
a while, you party so much and so hard that just the smell
right.
of alcohol,
Oh yeah,
yeah, it
I'll I'll,
just brings
I'll
back
be that
all
side
these things.
of stories. I'll bring that to the table for sure. So I'll have plenty of those. You want to talk drunken stories? I'll bring at least one a day or recording. But yeah, you just tell me to chime in on the drinking stories then.
Uh, All right. Well, we're about here hitting our 25th minute mark. I think that's a pretty good way to start things out. We'll see on Friday. You said you're going to be traveling,
Yeah,
right?
I'll be driving to Kentucky.
Yeah, and just for anybody who does get to see this between now and Friday, I will be on.
Yeah, dude, Chicago's wild right now, bro. I can't wait to talk to you about it. We had NASCAR in town last weekend, so they actually
What?
shut down a good portion of downtown Chicago. So that was actually is pretty cool. As much as it's unnecessary when you have certain events like that. I mean, anything this the city just to get a sidetrack from what's going on with. Dude, there was like 100 plus
Yeah,
shootings in this city over the weekend. So to
yeah,
have
yeah.
NASCAR come through and just kind of change things up a little bit. And then I know that a couple festivals are coming. I know maybe there's still a Taste of Chicago. I want to do some festival trying out this over the next July, and then August is back to school. But yeah, maybe we could even touch on a little bit of that of what's going on in Houston and maybe even in Chicago. That'd be cool to highlight a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Taste of Chicago, I always used to like until it got too packed, right? Like once it got where to the point where you could barely walk, it was not fun
Right.
because then leaving the place,
Yeah.
everybody's waiting for the
Forget it.
train, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun until you do it, and then when you do it, you only want to do it once, and that's it, you know.
It's kind of
Um,
like that Great America line. Yeah, I need the
yeah,
fast pass.
yep.
Cool,
All
bro.
right, Steve. Well, for everyone out there, thank you for joining us. You know, again, we're talking like a couple of idiots to 0 subscribers, but we're hoping that, that will grow quickly. So thank you very much, and we'll see you guys on Friday.